So reading, of course, is one of my favorite hobbies since I was a child, but of course not everybody in life is a reader, so I thought today's video would be all about convincing that non-reader in your life to read. So today I'm going to give you guys 8 reasons for why you should read books. Reason number 1 is to expand your horizons. There are many different genres, there are many different authors, there are just a whole vast array of things to read out there. So by reading, you are going to expand your knowledge of the world and the people in it. Classic literature will give you a peek inside what it was like to live in that century in which that book was written. Fantasy and sci-fi can expand your imagination and allow you to think outside of the box. Contemporary fiction allows you to see different viewpoints from the world that we currently live in. There are non-fiction books where you can learn about history, things that happened in the past, things that have happened in the recent past, things that are happening now. There are just a vast amount of books and literature out there that can cause you to think differently than how you think now and kind of allow you to expand your horizons and expand the way that you think and view the world. Reason number 2 is so you can learn from different perspectives from your own. I think one of the biggest things that makes me thankful for being a reader is that I have learned a lot of things that I myself do not experience in my everyday life. I have been able to learn more about how other people view life and how their life and how different people's prejudices and biases have affected them. Things that I myself might not experience as a white female. There are many different perspectives that you can find in books, from people of color to LGBTQ people, people who just live in different parts of the world. There's just a wide array of perspectives that you encounter while reading books that you, without even realizing it, are learning from. You are learning how to, like going back to my first point, how to view the world differently and to see it from other people's perspectives. And I think seeing things from other people's perspectives is extremely important because it helps to teach you compassion and empathy for other people who are different from yourself. Reason number 3 is because it's relaxing. I find reading to be quite relaxing. If I need to take a time where I can retreat from everyday life, from the internet, everything that's going on in the world, I will retreat to my quiet space and use that time to read and kind of center myself. I find it to be kind of relaxing. I think in a form reading is kind of a form of meditation because it takes your mind off of whatever is going on in your current life or the world and allows you to kind of retreat to a separate space where you can kind of forget about it for a little while and kind of refresh yourself. So yeah, reading is pretty good for kind of centering yourself again. Reason number 4 is because it is in fact a form of entertainment. Perhaps you are bored and you don't know what to do with yourself. Well then why not reach for a book? You might be pleasantly surprised. Until I was 9 years old, I hated reading. I was bored and I just did not feel like reading at all, but then one day I found the right book. That book was BFG by Roald Dahl, and the rest is history. I was just engrossed in that story. I had to know what was going to go on, what was going to happen, and I loved it. And reading really is a form of entertainment. Reading is very much like a movie playing inside your head. It kind of takes you on its own adventure and it's a lot of fun. So perhaps you're bored, perhaps you don't have any shows or movies you want to watch, nobody to hang out with, no video games to play, then why not reach for a book because you might find yourself pleasantly surprised. Reason number 5 is creativity. I believe that reading helps to spark creativity in a person, especially if you're reading sci-fi or fantasy. Your mind is having to take the world in which this book is taking place and these characters and imagine them and kind of play this movie in your head. You're using your own perspective and the way that you view the world to kind of shape the world and the characters that you're reading about. And it can kind of make you start thinking about other aspects of this world. I know growing up with Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings, I would imagine myself in the story and as one of the characters or like a side character that wasn't in the book. And you know, that was definitely an imagination thing. It was a creative thing. It allowed me to kind of think outside the box that was contained within that book and to kind of view how the rest of the world could be. Its potential was endless. And I think it kind of allows everybody to kind of tap into that creative spark and their imagination. And I think that is a wonderful thing. Reason number 6 is because it helps you to learn to think critically. I think this is something that definitely comes with time. I don't think when you first start reading, especially as a child, you're necessarily the most critical person in the world. But I definitely have noticed, particularly since starting my BookTube channel, that I have become definitely more critical of the books that I read. You do tend to think more deeply into the book that you're reading and how the author is writing and how, whether or not the way that they're portraying the world and the characters is necessarily, if it makes sense or if it's correct or if it's problematic or what have you. And I think that reading definitely helps you to think more critically, not only of books, but just everyday life in general. It helps you to kind of, like I've said many times in this video, think more outside of the box and to kind of look past what is there on the surface and to look deeper into the meaning of not only the book that you're reading, but kind of your everyday life, you know? It allows you to think critically of other people's actions and things that you see in the news, and just, you just kind of develop this sense to kind of look deeper into things and just surface value. Reason number 7 is because I believe it is a form of escape. Reading has always been my escape since I was a kid, particularly in like high school and middle school. I would just read books all the time. It's just a way for me to kind of escape and to lose myself in a story. And I didn't have to think about the world and what was going on, or what was going on in my personal life at the time, or even to this day, or what have you. It's just kind of a way to escape into somebody else's problems and to go on the adventure with them, and to just lose yourself in someone else's story. So perhaps you're feeling troubled or stressed out or anxious or what have you. Sometimes reading can be a perfect escape for that, particularly if you just pick up a fun book or a funny book, such as Sebastian de Castell's books. His books are pretty humorous. Or the Anne of Green Gables series, a book that you just know will give you a smile and help you to kind of feel refreshed again and just kind of escape into the story. And my final reason for why you should read, reason number 8, is because it can help others. I personally believe that by reading you begin to develop more compassion and empathy for other people, especially those who are different from yourself. But it also allows you to support other people in different ways. By purchasing books by diverse authors, you are getting more diverse voices out there on the market, because we as the readers are the ones that drive the market. Purchasing the books and putting your money where your mouth is, you are able to help drive that change. But you're also able to, not only by purchasing these books by diverse authors featuring diverse characters, you're also, again, like I said before earlier in this video, learning different perspectives, different ways that people have lived their life in ways that are different from your own, because you have not experienced those prejudices and biases. So I think that reading can just be a form of help for many people for many different reasons, including yourself. It can be a form of self-care, just using reading as a form of escape, or reading to other people who cannot read themselves. Because if you think about it, storytelling has to be one of the oldest inventions of man that transcends time. If you look far back in history, oral history was a big thing. Stories are a part of every single culture, and it's just something that transcends time, continents, everything. And I think stories just play a very, very important part in who we all are as people. So I think there's something to be said about books. I think books can help many people for many different reasons. All right, guys, that is it for my 8 reasons why I believe you should read. Hopefully my points made sense. I try to make them concise. Hopefully it wasn't too rambly. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments if you have any more reasons why you think people should read, because I think we should all share what our reasons are, because they might differ from other people's. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Until next time, happy reading. Bye!